Welcome back to a new video on the 1982 Kawasaki 750 Limited, the L version. Now actually I have decided to put the standard airbox back into the bike, and of course, as we all know, that's connected with these intake rubbers, and in the course of the years these things, they tend to get hard, extremely hard, and they're not flexible at all. So it's very difficult to get the airbox back in when there's no flexibility in these rubber intakes. So I'm going to try a few things. First of all, I just boiled some water and let it cool down just for a minute or two to about 95 degrees. I'm first going to try to put it in hot water for a while, see if that solves the problem and makes it more flexible. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to try a second option, and that is by putting it in brake fluid for about 24 hours. And I'm very curious to see what happens then. A third option is last option as far as I'm concerned, and that's a mix of different chemicals to soften this rubber. So I'm going to take the easy route first with these first two steps and see what happens. Let me just get a fork so I can dunk it in the water without burning my hands. So there it is. I'll leave it for a little while and get back to it in a few minutes. Well, this first rubber intake has been sitting in the water now for about 15 or 20 minutes. So let me carefully take it out and see if there's any difference whatsoever. Let me quickly dry it off and we can have a look. Well, let's have a look at the difference. It was very hard, and now it is extremely flexible in every way. I still have to clean them on the outside, as you can see here, but even so, now they're flexible enough to actually fit on the bike, as you can see. So that has actually helped quite nicely. So that's number one. So 3 more to go. It works. Well guys, it turned out that putting this hardened rubber intake into hot water only temporarily solved the problem and made it flexible enough to allow me to put the airbox back into the bike. Now, so what I've done actually is because I had them in hot water this morning and this afternoon they hardened again. So what I did now was put each one of these into hot water and afterwards immediately dry them off to one by one put them back into the engine, connecting it to the airbox, and then it worked okay. So I can feel now again that they've hardened again. Okay, well that's fine with me. They're fixed to the bike and to the air filter or the airbox, so it solved my problem. Now many people take off the original airbox thinking it's easy to put back on. Well, it is not. You really have to fiddle around with it quite some time. And based on my experience with what I've done here, I can tell you that the best thing is actually to take out the air filter. So you unscrew this, take out the air filter, and it provides a large enough hole for you to get in with your hand, and then you put the rubber intakes through the hole through the air filter, and that works best for me. And actually then you can easily pop them back into the air filter and get them around the carburetor. Now I don't have any clamps for these rubber air intakes, so I've been using zip ties. actually two zip ties connected to each other because the circumference is too big for one zip tie, and that works fine for me now. It's airtight, I'm sure of that. I've tightened them down very securely. So now at least the air filter's back on. I do have to fasten it behind the side panels here. We have bolts going in to fasten the air filter, but I fastened it to the carburetor first. So everything's been tightened down. So I'm very curious how this is going to run. What I also did was add a starter button, which you see here. You can just get at it in between here. I don't want a starter button anymore on the bars because it's getting too cluttered. So I actually had two of these old side panels, and I still have to spray paint this one nice black. And so I'll put on these two black side panels, drilled out a hole, and put in this starter button, which you can just get at, which is fine. And it already works, I already checked it. So that's it with regards to putting on back the airbox and the air filter, and also softening up the rubber. Now there are other solutions to soften up this rubber, like using brake fluid or a combination of chemicals, and as long as you put them on immediately, again, hot water will work as a temporary solution to at least put them back on your bike. Just a little update on the Kawasaki 82 model 750 Limited L version. After reinstalling the standard airbox, I gave it a run and found out that it was actually leaking oil in one of the cylinders. So instead of doing a complete engine overhaul, I still had a Kawasaki 750 GPZ engine lying in the shed, and today I took a day off of work, and in one day I was able to replace the engine the bike came with this GPZ engine. There's still a lot to do. As you can see, all the wiring still has to be done, and I have to clean up the engine. Let's have a quick look. There we are. I think the black engine looks better also in this bike. I am going to put on the standard airbox again, and yeah, that's it. So it's going to take a little bit longer than I expected to finish this bike before I can take it for a ride. But the other engine just wasn't worth rebuilding. And you know, these Kawasaki 750 engines, you can pick them up for $100. So why not just exchange engines, and then hopefully we'll have a much better riding bike. That was it for now. Thanks for watching. Look forward to a next video.